All right, let's talk about it. We're going to tackle what might be the most feared part of learning German, those three little words, der, die, and das. But what if I told you there's a hidden logic to it all, that it's not just a random guessing game? And, let's just dive right in with the classic example, the one that makes everyone's brain hurt. Why on earth is the girl, das Mädchen, neuter? It's biologically female. This seems like it makes absolutely no sense, but trust me, it's the perfect place to start.
I mean, if you've ever felt this way, you're in very good company. It's like a rite of passage for German learners. You're feeling good, you're making progress, and then bam, you just slam into the gender wall. But don't worry, today, we're giving you the tools to get right over it.
Okay, so you might be wondering, why do we have to care so much? Can't we just kind of ignore them? Well, not really, because in German, noun gender isn't some tiny little detail. Nope. It is the absolute bedrock of the entire grammar system.
Think of it like this. Getting the gender right is the first domino. If you tip it in the right direction, everything else that follows, adjective endings, the role of the noun in the sentence, it all has a chance to fall perfectly into place. But if you get that first one wrong, the whole sentence can just fall apart. Whoa, okay, take a deep breath. Do not try to memorize this chart. Seriously. The only thing I want you to see here is how every single column starts with gender. Masculine, feminine, neuter. It's the starting point that dictates which path the rest of your grammar follows. That's it.
All right, let's get to the good stuff. Here's the biggest secret about German genders. They are not random. I repeat, they are not random. There is a system. There are patterns and clues hidden in plain sight. And once you learn to see them, you'll see them everywhere. And it really all boils down to two secret weapons. First, the meaning of the word. What kind of thing is it? And second, and this one is often a super clue, its form. What are the last few letters? What's the suffix? Let's break that down. So for masculine or der words, you can think in big categories. Things like days of the week, months, seasons, most types of weather, they're almost always masculine. Car brands too. And if you see a word ending in er, ling, or, that is a huge, huge clue that you're looking at a der word. Now for feminine nouns. And this is where the suffixes are basically a cheat code. See those endings? Ung, heit, kite, schaft? They are almost always feminine. And think about what that means. Thousands of huge abstract ideas like freedom, die Freiheit, or the newspaper, die Zeitung. You now know their gender just by looking at the ending.
And here it is, the answer to our very first question. The suffixes chin and lein are diminutives. They mean small or little. And any word that ends in chin or lein is automatically neuter. So Mädchen, which literally means little maid, is neuter because of its ending. The form of the word is more powerful than its biological meaning. How cool is that? So what does this all add up to? Well, if you use these two tools, looking at the meaning and looking at the word's form, you can correctly figure out the gender for about 80% of all German nouns. Suddenly, it's not a 1 in 3 guess anymore. It's a puzzle you can actually solve.
Okay, so knowing the rules is one thing, but actually getting them into your brain so they become second nature, that's the real challenge. So let's talk about a few brain-friendly hacks to make this stuff stick for good.
This right here is the single most important habit you can possibly build. From now on, you are not learning the word Tisch. You're learning the word der Tisch. It's one chunk, one unit of information. Weld them together in your brain. This next one is so simple, but so powerful. Color code everything. Our brains just love visual triggers. Pick a color for each gender, maybe blue for der, red for die, green for das, and use it everywhere. In your notes, on your flashcards. That little splash of color creates a lightning-fast shortcut for your memory. Okay, ready for a really fun one? Our brains don't remember boring lists very well, but they are amazing at remembering weird, silly stories. So let's make some. For every der word, imagine a giant blue Viking doing something with it. Picture him smashing der Tisch to pieces. For D words, maybe a glamorous diva in a red dress elegantly reads die Zeitung. The crazier the image, the better it will stick. Once you get the main system down, you start to notice some of the really fun and quirky parts of German gender. These aren't just annoying exceptions. They actually show you how the language thinks. Okay, this rule is a total game changer. You know those super long German words made of a bunch of smaller words? Well, there's a beautifully simple rule. The gender of the whole word is always the gender of the very last word in the chain. So, das Haus plus die Tür becomes die Haustür, because Tür is at the end. That's it. And this is where things get really fascinating. You can have a word that's spelled exactly the same, but the gender completely changes what it means. Der See is a lake, a nice, calm lake. But die See, that's the sea, the ocean. Same word, totally different world. Here's another perfect one. If you ask for der Leiter, you're asking for the boss, the person in charge. But if you ask for die Leiter, you're asking for a ladder to climb on. You can probably imagine how getting that one wrong might lead to some pretty funny situations. So as we start to wrap this up, let's talk about the right mindset. You're not trying to become a flawless, gender-predicting robot overnight. That's not the goal. The real goal is to build a strong, reliable instinct little by little. And here's a little secret you really need to hear. For some of the more obscure words, even native German speakers will pause and think for a second. Sometimes they even have to look it up. So please, don't beat yourself up over mistakes. It's all part of the journey. The goal is always progress, never perfection. So, here's what I really want you to take away today. First, stop thinking of German gender as chaos. It's a system with patterns. Second, your tools for breaking that code are the word's meaning and its ending. Third, always, always learn the noun and its article as one single piece. And finally, have fun with it. Use colors and create crazy stories to make it all stick. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Instead of seeing der, die, das as that giant wall you're going to crash into, start seeing it as a key. It's the key that unlocks the next level of German, the key to sounding more natural and fluent. Now that you have the tools to find the right one, what doors are you going